One of the most common questions I get asked as a sales mentor is this: how can I get my prospects to call me back? Or my prospects aren't returning my calls, James, or I'm not getting any response to my emails from my prospects. What do I do? In this video, I'm going to share with you a couple of reasons why it's happening and what you can do about it. My name's James White, the UK's leading prospect conversion expert. Let's take a look at the video and see what tips and actions you need to take in order to get prospects to pick up the phone and call you back. So point number one when it comes to prospects not calling you back is a really simple one. And I'm going to be a bit harsh and direct on you. Maybe that meeting you had just wasn't as good as you thought. So many salespeople make the mistake of when they go into sales, they're going to go, yeah, I'm going to tell my prospect all about my business, how great we are. And we're going to say this is great, blah, 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 for the first 30 minutes. And I'm going to talk and show them presentations and show them everything else and show them all this great stuff about who we are. And they don't remember to ask questions and shut their mouths. The reality is, if a prospect's not calling you back, you've got to think, how did the meeting really go from their perspective? If you put yourself in their shoes, what would they be thinking? Would they be thinking, that person really asked me lots of great questions. They really got to know me. They really asked questions as to how I felt about something or what impact certain things would have for me. Or did they actually just talk at me and say how great they were? And even when I said something about where I was thinking or what I was feeling, they then just wanted to hear the sound of their voice again and just didn't even probe further into that area. Prospects don't call you back because when the meeting's finished and you've left, they look and think, what did I gain from this meeting? This person was focused on them and selling to me, not about actually helping me achieve my goals and do something that I need to do differently. So the first thing you've got to do is go back over that meeting. And it's difficult sometimes in sales to relive what happened, but look at yourself honestly in the mirror and say, how much percentage of the time did you talk? 70% of the time, it should be the prospect talking, not you. What was the percentage in that conversation? Ask yourself the question, did I really get to know the person before trying to sell to them? Did I really try and find out who they were? Did I really sort of build a connection, a human empathy with them before I started to sell to them? The third element is, did you just come out of a load of guff of presentations and brochures and shit about what you do rather than really focusing on them? If you can answer the question honestly, that they were really engaged and that you didn't do any of those things, then we'll come on to reason number two in a moment. The main reason why they're not calling you back is they felt that first meeting was little value to them. It was all about you, and actually it didn't give them anything that made them want to continue on the conversation. You have to look yourself honestly in the accountability mirror and say to yourself, did that meeting really go as I expected? Or if I was in the shoes of my prospect, what would I do? Don't think like you, think like them. And if you're thinking that they maybe thought you talk too much, or maybe that you haven't really explored what it was going to do to help them, there's the reason why they're not calling you back. How do you resolve that situation? Maybe you need to be honest. You need to go back to them and say, hey, John, I really appreciate that you gave me some time a few weeks ago, and I'm conscious that I probably talked a little bit too much about us and what we do rather than understanding you. I'm really sorry for that, and hopefully you can give me a chance to get to know you a bit more. Be honest with them if that's the case. You're going to have a far better chance of engaging with them and trying to work with them than being in a position where you keep on knocking down the door when you're without you thinking really how that first meeting went. So be honest with yourself. Look back, and if that first meeting's gone really like you were the main talker and you didn't really focus on the prospect, that's your reason why they're not calling you back. Change that for the next time. You can't go back in time. You can change the way you go moving forward. So point number two relates to the reason why the prospect's not called you back. And I think there are four key reasons as to why that prospect is not really engaged in the way you want them to be. And I'd encourage yourself to review your list of questions from that meeting and the answers given and see which one of these it could be. Firstly, was it a big enough pain point for them? Is what you do going to really solve a major problem for them? If you've got toothache or backache, you're not going to want to wait to go to the dentist or the chiropractor. Did you really probe and find out at least what the issue was that your prospect was trying to solve? Is it a priority for them? Is it something that they've said, absolutely, this is on the top of my list to do and I want to get it resolved in the next couple of weeks? In which case then, yeah, make sure you appoint a next stage meeting for a week's time or a few days' time in order to move things forward. But if it's not a priority on their list, and if they've said to you that they may be thinking about this for the next 3 to 6 months, that's why they've not come back to you. Point number three, is it a passion for them? Is it something that really gets them burned up inside, that's a real cause that they're really attracted to or they really care about? You've got to build that passion inside the prospect to make them want to take that action. And point number four is it personal for them? When we sell into any situation, people buy for selfish reasons. And what we've got to be able to understand is, what is that person who is the decision maker buying your product or service for, and how is it going to help them, and how it's going to improve what they do and the way they operate. People, even in business environments, still buy for selfish reasons. How can it elevate their position? How can it protect them from a situation? You've got to try and identify that. They're not going to tell you outright. You've got to work those things out. So once we identify which of those four it is, we've got a far better chance to be able to know why the prospect's not calling us back. Invariably, salespeople always don't do the work needed in the initial conversations and then wonder, well, why didn't I get a call back? It was staring at you in the face all along through the conversation you were having. Or maybe the conversation you weren't having. Maybe you were talking and the prospect wasn't engaging in the way you should do. If we find out what's really going on with them, and actually you build that rapport and you feel like they've really got on you and they're smiling, you're getting the body language and the gestures that work, then there's no reason why at the end of that session, and the final point, is you should be able to say, look, Alex, I've had a really great conversation with you today and I really appreciate your time. And I'm really concerned about some of those things you want to get resolved. And it sounds like you really want to make those problems go away quite quickly. Have I got that right? The chances are you're going to get the prospect to say, yeah, that's right. Actually, that's what we do want to get resolved. So based upon our conversation, Alex, would it make sense for us to maybe arrange a call for next week, once I provide you some of the information that I can share with you, so that we can maybe explore how we could work together on this? How would that feel for you? Now, if that prospect says, great, I can't wait, let's get the diary out there and then get your phone, get their calendar out and literally get that appointment in the diary and send them an invitation straight away. If they won't give you that response, then maybe you've got to query and say, is there a reason why they're not giving you that response? Maybe maybe they'll say, yeah, well, I'll think about getting a meeting in place. You've then got to maybe respond with look, I'm really keen to move things forward, but you mentioned a couple of moments ago this was key to get resolved, and now you maybe it's not so sure to get a meeting in place. Can I ask, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to do that? Probe, find out in those meetings and those calls. Don't wait around for the prospect to literally leave and then be in a position where you're hoping it's going to work, but it's not really gone well from their perspective. Be open and honest with them. You're better to be able to find that out there and then than to go away and then be in a position where you become a prisoner of hope, as Mike Weinberg would call it, later down the line. Prospects, you have salespeople who solve problems, who deliver things for them, that help them and educate them and value them, are going to be in a position that they're going to want to keep engaging with you. They see you as someone that can help them, and there's no reason why they're not going to want to continue to engage in that relationship. But, and it's a big but here, if you're on the wrong wavelength, if you haven't connected with them, if you haven't been able to show them that you can solve their problem or want, the chances are they're going to see your phone number coming up on the phone and go, thanks very much, I don't need to speak to this person. Point number 3, when it comes to actually getting the prospect to call you back, is also the length of time from when you've started working with them through to traditionally when they will buy from you. Sales cycle is so key when it comes to business. I've been with a client this morning talking about their sales cycle. They want to close business by the end of March, and I'm saying to them, looking in December, they haven't engaged with enough people in that period of time to make that target they want to hit happen. I know in my business it takes 3 to 4 months. Maybe in your business it takes 3 to 6 months. I don't know. But the reality is maybe that prospect's not calling you back because they've got to absorb things. They've got to go through that process where you literally go from the top, they're thinking, yeah, I like this person. And then they're going through the point of thinking, yeah, I've really seen some case studies and I've seen a bit more marketing from them, I've seen a brochure, and they're going to go through this stage. And that might take 2 or 3 months, maybe even longer. So the reality is if they're not calling you back straight away, it's because they maybe haven't given up on you, but it's just not right for them. It's not a priority right now, not too much of a pain point. It's something that's stopping them from doing that. The reality is this: if you've built a brilliant connection with your prospect, and if they absolutely love your company and what you stand for, and most importantly, if your product or service is really going to solve a problem or a want for them, and they need that over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks, that prospect is going to call you back, or they're going to want to engage, or they're going to say, thanks very much, but you're not right for me. It's going to be one of those elements. And if it's not, go back, have a look at the first meeting, put yourself in that position and think, did it go as well as I thought? Or be in a position where you clarify those 4 Ps, the pain, the priority, the passion, or whether it's personal for them. And the third point is look at your sales cycle. Are you trying to sell too early in the process? The chances are if you're trying to ring someone every other day when you've only just met them, and it normally takes you 3 months to sell in to a client, then you're pushing them too fast too soon. That's going to put them off and make them think, I don't want to speak to that person. The reality is this: when your phone number appears on their number, what are they going to think when they see James White or Alex Are they going to go, yes, he's really helpful, actually I do need to speak to him because I need to move that forward, or are they going to think, he was a nightmare, put the phone down? I'm not sure what's going to happen in your business, but I know in many cases, because we don't ask the right questions and put ourselves in the prospect's shoes, we end up thinking it went well, and then reality is, for the prospect, it was very different. That's why they're not calling you back. And the way we need to solve that is use our ears more than our mouth, focus on them, probe into the questions that the prospect needs to know and that you want to find out about them and what you can do to help them. And if you do that and you feel they're a good fit to work together, get that date in the diary. Do that, you're going to get more prospects engaging with you, you're going to hopefully close more business and be in a position where you're not frustrated at prospects not calling you back. My name's James White, I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert. Thanks for watching the video, and if I can help you get more prospects phoning you back, I'd love to do that. Drop me a comment in the section below about your situation and I'll do what I can to help you so you're not in a difficult position, so you're winning more business and getting you and your company where you want to be. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel if you love it. Share it with friends and colleagues. I'd love you to share it with them so we can help them get the results they want as well. And by the way, remember, look in that accountability mirror. Be honest with yourself as a salesperson. Honesty is the best way we can always get better results. And if you take that action, you're on the fast track to success.